Turbo and 2K show.
What is up, 2K crew? Yes, we are back. We are back. And by we, I mean me. 2K's is not feeling the best today, so we decided to kind of sit this one out, get ready for the week ahead. But ladies and gentlemen, it seems like we haven't talked in quite a while here. We did have Memorial Day weekend off, so hopefully everyone had a very, very good holiday. Go ahead in the comments, let me know, what did you guys and gals do over the holiday? Me and my family, we just kind of hung out, did a lot of work around the yard, cooked some food, ate some food, drank some beverages, and just hung out with some friends. So very, very, very kind of mundane weekend, but it's not about it's not about what you do, it's who you do it with, and remembering why we're able to do these things, because for the folks that laid down their freedoms for us. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, we are about a third of the way through the baseball season, and I'm very excited. I am very excited to chat with you guys and gals. As you may know or notice, we're in a whole new studio. We moved a couple doors down from the news office. We are for the foreseeable future, hopefully. Tony over here at Patching Remington is letting us kind of podcast from here and do our show live from here. So a big shout out to Tony, the crew, and everyone for having us over here. And if you're wondering what exactly Patching Remington does, hop on their Facebook page. They do a whole bunch of stuff here. So, and I'm sure as the relationship kind of grows between us, we'll fill you guys and gals in on some of the stuff they have going on over here. And I do see a handful of folks on watching the feed live. So go ahead and I do see Franklin here. He says Tigers are slipping. Yes. But I mean, if you are a Tigers fan, how much did you really expect from this team? We will get into that. But everyone, let's. These solo missions here kind of go a little easier when we do have a little bit of comment back and forth. So let's get a conversation started, ladies and gentlemen. So let's start a conversation. For those of you that are on the live, if you're watching on Facebook, I did drop 2 links in the description. Go check them out. If you are on Facebook, click the link that I put out there, and so it doesn't. So right here, where it says Facebook user, it'll actually say your name. Just click that link once, and it'll save it, and it'll look like this. There's me right there. So go ahead and do that. Or if you want the full experience, ladies and gentlemen, I did drop the link over to the YouTube. Either way, and while you're there, go ahead and give us a like, give us a subscribe, and ring the bell so you get notified every time we go live. And for those of you on the audio side, you are our unsung heroes. We get probably 10 to 15 to 1 downloads to views, whether it's on Facebook or on YouTube. So big shout out to you guys and gals. Give us a follow on there, and give us a 5-star rating. Let's get us bumped up to those rankings. But ladies and gentlemen, that's not why you're here. You're here to talk some baseball, and so am I. And I'm actually really excited because we're a third of the way through the season, or just thereabout. We're a third of the way through the season, and I think there's some things that kind of have been going the way we thought, but there's a lot of things that are kind of shocking in some ways. But let's just do a quick recap of where we are here in the season. Let's look at the AL East, and for those of you that are watching live, go ahead and let me know in the comments here if you were to do a power ranking. What is your team? What teams do you have 1 through 5? Which teams do you have 1 through 5? Let's get a couple of those lists going, and then I'll give you mine, and we'll kind of compare and see just kind of get a landscape of where everyone is. Start with the AL East. The Tampa Bay Rays are pretty much, I shouldn't say they're running away, but they've been the hottest team in baseball since the start. I honestly have no idea how these guys do it. They have a very, very limited payroll, yet they are absolutely destroying folks. They have a plus 122 run differential. Let's say that again. A plus 122 run differential. And the Orioles, who are 4 games back, have a plus 30. Let that sink in for a little bit. Plus 122 to plus 30. The Yankees have a plus 39. They're 6.5 games back, followed by the Blue Jays and the Red Sox. Ironically enough, every team in this division is over 500. I know 2Ks and I have talked about this at great lengths. Hell, we even buried the Yankees a couple weeks ago, and the Yankees seem to. They're 10 games over 500 now, and only 2.5 games back of the Orioles and 6.5 back of the Rays. So maybe we were throwing dirt on this Yankees team just a little bit too early. But that's what we do. That's what we do. We normally give our predictions, and then hell, not too long after that, we are terribly wrong. We are terribly wrong. So let's move to the Central. This Central division is horrible. I think is the best way to describe it. Franklin did. Remember he said the Tigers are slipping. They're 5 games under 500. Yeah, if my math is right, 26 and 31, but that's only 3.5 back. 3.5 back of the Twins, who are leading this division at 31 and 29. The Twins are also the only team in this division with a positive run differential, plus 45, and the Guardians, who are sitting in second place, have a minus 31. Minus 31. That's probably one of the reasons why they're 27 and 32. But I was listening to the Baseball is Dead podcast yesterday or today, or maybe it was Friday. But this AL Central is kind of lining up to be not only the worst team in baseball, but possibly the worst team or the worst division in the history of baseball. Let that sink in. Baseball's been around for a long time. And for us to be witnessing a possible historic bad, and we'll get to another historic bad here in just a second, but a whole division, ladies and gentlemen, a whole division, that is just insane. And some of these teams are storied franchises. The Tigers have been around forever. The White Sox have been around forever. And for them to be this bad is just wow. And I think the only reason we're not talking about how insanely bad the Kansas City Royals are is because the Oakland Athletics are way worse. Way worse. Speaking of worst, I'm going to adjust my camera here 1 second, so hold that thought. I'll be right back. Now it doesn't look like I'm sitting in a cave. There, that's much better. It's much better. And speaking of the Oakland A's, let's move to the West. The Rangers are winning this division and have the largest run differential in baseball at plus 152. Plus 152. 8-2 in their last 10. Sitting atop this division at 38 and 20. And this is, definitely not something I would have thought was going to happen. But I have a feeling, ladies and gentlemen, that this Rangers team is here to stay. That they are here to stay. And there's a lot of good teams. I mean, if the A's are atrociously bad, 12 and 49. With a run differential of minus 212. That is insane. And this last week, we just saw them take 2 of 3 from the Atlanta Braves. Let that sink in. They won a series, their second series of the season. The only other series win they have is against the Royals, and they take 2 of 3 from... I have a feeling this Atlanta Braves team is going to be on a lot of people's power rankings right now. right now, and to go into Oakland and get to lose twice is just, it's kind of a shame. It really is kind of a shame. But if you were to take the A's out of this division and replace them with anybody, you would see a division that is pretty much over 500, similar to the AL East. But the Astros are 3.5 games back, and they're 7-3 in their last 10. They're arguably the Astros are one of the hottest teams in baseball, yet can't gain ground on the Rangers because they're just as hot, if not a little bit hotter. Then we have the Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani. Angels sitting at 31-30, and the last year's darlings, the Seattle Mariners, at 29-30. All of these teams, except for the A's, have a positive run differential. The AL East every team has a positive run differential. However, the Angels and the Mariners, their run differential is +3. So honestly, that could change tomorrow. So wouldn't put too much stock into that. But yes, this is going to be a fun division to keep an eye on. I have a feeling it's probably going to be come down to the Rangers and Astros. But then again, if you're the Angels, you're sitting there, okay, we're 8.5 back of the Rangers, and we have a very good feeling that we're not going to be able to re-sign Shohei. So what do we do? What are we left to do here? Do we make a play and bring players in? Do we make a play to move him out? Because I like 2Ks and I have talked about before, I really don't see a team investing $1 billion into 2 players. They already have Mike Trout under contract for over $400 million, and it's rumored that Ohtani is going to be 6. So, do you really think? I mean, is it financially possible? Yes. In California, in Anaheim, yes. Ohtani is one of those rare players that his marketability is global. And I think one of the reasons we saw the World Baseball Classic have such amazing numbers as we did this year is because of Ohtani, because he's just doing things we've never seen before. And we're tapping into that Japanese market, which is absolutely gigantic when it comes to baseball. So that's kind of I remember when Albert Pujols signed with the Angels. It was this huge ordeal. But everyone said you win one World Series and that contract pays for itself. Similarly with the Tigers and Miguel Cabrera. And the Tigers at least made it to the World Series. The Tigers made some noise in the playoffs. We've yet to see Mike Trout and Ohtani in the playoffs. So, but I do think with Ohtani being as special as he is and having the global marketability of him, especially in the Asian markets, I could honestly say that probably half of that contract will be paid for by merchandise and by by just him being there, because he is such a celebrity worldwide, not just in the U.S. This is Frank as well. It says Yankees won't catch a raise. I agree. And he also says my White Sox are trying this year. Yeah, they're trying a lot of things, Frank, and I'm pretty sure you can agree with me. They're trying your patience. They're trying your patience, if nothing else. And Frank, I mean, your White Sox team is lately has been doing better. The pitching we've seen Dylan Cease kind of turn a corner, so hopefully that's a good sign for things to come. We've seen Luis Robert just kind of doing his thing and just destroying baseballs, and we'll get into that here in the stats here in a little bit. But You're right. Ultimately, they are trying, and like I said, they're trying a lot of people's patience. Frank also said teams are going to be in the running for Ohtani. They're going to be in the running. However, money talks, and there's only so many teams that have the capital to have the ability to bring him in on such a big contract. Let's jump over to the National League here. National League East, the Braves are on top with a 35-24 record. The only team in this division, believe it or not, with a positive run differential, plus 65. The Marlins are actually in second place, followed by the Mets, who are at 500. The Phillies, they are 8 games back, and ironically have one of the largest payrolls in baseball this year. And the Lonely Nats are bringing up the rear in this division. This is the Braves division to win. I'll just put it out there. This is the Braves division to win. They are better, in my opinion, than that team that won the World Series, even though there are pieces like Freddie Freeman and some other guys that aren't there. But this starting rotation is absolutely insane. This whole pitching staff is absolutely insane. And we've seen kind of a career resurgence. Career resurgence from Mike Soroka, who was making his second start today. Hasn't looked really sharp yet, but it's definitely a good sign to see that he's on his way back. Always been a big Soroka fan, and that lineup is so deep, and with the kind of the consensus NL MVP right now in Acuna, I mean this team's rolling. This team is absolutely rolling. They are very fun to watch, and Spencer Strider is striking out everybody. And that just between him, that team is one of the most fun teams to watch in baseball right now. And like I said, they're the only team in this division with a positive run differential. NL Central is a weird one. This is a weird one. This one might be. It's. Out of all the divisions out of all 3 divisions in the National League, this one is by far the weakest. But I think we're going to see the most drama out of this one. I think we're going to see the most. It's definitely going to come down to the last few days of the season to see who wins this thing. And let's be honest, 2K crew, there's only one team going to the playoffs out of the Central. And right now, the Brewers are sitting atop that division, 32-27. And ironically enough, they're leading the division with a negative run differential at -19. The Pirates are a half game back, 31-27. Like 2Ks and I talked about the last time we were on air. That team's kind of come down to earth. Do I still think they're a strong team? Yes. Do I think they can make some noise and win this division? Yes. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Cincinnati Reds are 26-33, and I think the biggest thing about the Reds is we're waiting for the emergence of their phenom, the number 1 prospect in baseball, Mr. De La Cruz, who I guess is like a 6'5" middle infielder that absolutely crushes the ball, and from both sides of the plate, and he's just wearing out AAA pitching. So it's gonna be interesting to see when they bring him up and how they kind of handle that, because this dude sounds and looks like a stud. Already gaining comparisons to O'Neal Cruz from the Pirates, and that dude is an absolute beast. An absolute beast. The Reds are followed by the Cubs. Actually, they're tied at the same. Actually, the Reds have a little bit better. The Reds and Cubs are both 6 games back. Let's put it that way. And the Cubs have a 0 run differential. Interesting. The Reds have a -35, and game and a half back at them, and 10 games under 500 is the St. Louis Cardinals, which we've kind of talked about here before, and they're the last place in this division, yet they're 3 runs. They have a positive 3 run differential. The Brewers have a minus 19 run differential and are leading this division. The Cardinals are 10 games under 500 with a positive run differential. Let that sink in a little bit. Let that sink in. That's, to me, that is a little weird. But like I said, this whole division is a little bit odd, and it's going to be kind of cool to see where this shakes out. I mean, like I said, there's only going to be one team from this division going to the playoffs. Let's check on another comment here. Chiming in, Mr. Justin Ware. Cardinals wear sliding mitts in the shower. Sliding mitts in the shower. I love it. I love it. And lastly, in the National League, the Dodgers are sitting atop, a half game ahead of the Diamondbacks. I was watching the Braves Diamondbacks before I came today, and the Braves walked a walk-off grand slam. How awesome is that? How awesome is that? And you take this division compared to the East and the Central. Okay, like I said, the Braves are the only team in the AL East with a positive run differential. The Colorado Rockies, who are 26-35, are the only team in this division with a negative run differential at minus 57. Granted, the Dodgers are 29-30, sitting right in the middle of that division, and they have a +1 run differential. Excuse me, but the Diamondbacks have a +58. Arizona has a +19. Excuse me, and the Padres, the 27-31 Padres, sitting there with a +13 run differential. That Padres team just baffles me. 2K Crew just baffles me. I don't understand them. I don't understand how they're not winning. I have a feeling if you would have told them at this point in the Soto trade, was it worth it? I don't know. They're one of their top pitching prospects was the main piece in that trade, and I think right now you could argue that I believe it was Mackenzie Gore was the pitching prospect that went over. But you could argue that he's more valuable now than Soto is. So, like I said, that team baffles me to be 7. I expected them in the Dodgers to kind of go back and forth and be sitting at the top of this division all season, but for them to be 4 games under 500. It's unacceptable. That is completely unacceptable. Let's look at some individual stats here, 2K Crew. Let's start with the American League. Batting average, Bo Bichette. Bo has actually become one of my favorite pieces to a parlay, if you will, whether if you go over total bases or hits or anything like that. He's becoming a very, very, very quick favorite of mine. But Yoshida from Boston is second. Yandy Diaz, first baseman from the Rays, is at 312. Gio Urshela for the Angels at 310. And Wander Franco at 305. Now, home runs. Well, let's take that and compare it to the National League here. This one, I mean, I'm pretty sure we can crown a National League batting title right now. And Luis Arias at 392. 392. Damn, 392. Freddie Freeman is second on the list at 336. Acuna 331. Nick Castellanos at 316. And Gurriel Jr. for the Diamondbacks at 310. 310. I mean, I do have a feeling that the eliminating the shift has a lot to do with a lot of these over 300 numbers this late in the season. But a lot of these guys, you're just seeing a lot of good hitting, and it's kind of hard for me to just kind of chalk that up to the rule changes, because Arias was murdering baseballs even before the rule changes. So you can't really argue with me on that one. I mean, you could, but let's chicks dig the long ball, 2K Crew. So let's check in on the home run race here. Sitting atop the National League is Peter Alonso, the polar bear, at 21, and in the American League is Aaron Judge with 19. Now, both of these guys are currently on pace for over 60 home runs. And if you guys and gals do listen to the or watch the Baseball is Dead podcast, they brought up a very, very good point. Both these guys are on pace. Do both of them actually eclipse that 60 home run mark? And I can't remember which member of the crew said that, well, Judge has done it before. Alonso hasn't. Even though Alonso's rookie year, I think he hit 56, 57, somewhere in there. And so he's definitely quite capable of hitting 60. But it's so hard to sit here and try to convince myself that either one of these guys are going to hit over 60, especially Judge. I mean, I want to say the over-under for home runs for him for this year on FanDuel was 44, and I for sure hammered that over because I figured even if he does take a little spell or a couple little spells on the IL, he would hit 44 in his sleep. But to hit over 60 again, he's going to have to stay healthy. And one of the ironic parts of of him being at 19 already is that he's already had to stand on the IL. And we saw last year when he was just doing his thing, I think the key to that was he was healthy. He was ultimately healthy. Now, Alonso, on the other hand, he hasn't had the stints on the IL like Judge has. So my gut's telling me that if one of these guys are going to do it, I'm going to bet on Alonso just because it's 2K Crew. It's the old adage: the best ability is availability, and Judge can't hit home runs when he's on the IL. But in the American League, to round out the top five, we've got Max Muncy with 18, Jorge Soler with 17, Matt Olson with 17, and Mookie Betts at 15. And for all my viewers, or all the 2K Crew not named, Rich and Kyler Thornburg, you saw Mookie go off and hit 2 home runs in consecutive games. So out of four of those 15 came in 2 games, just a few days ago. And I was watching the Yankees-Dodgers, they're tied at 0 in the bottom of the 6th. So Mookie has not hit a home run yet. So not to say that he won't, but I mean, it's bottom of the 6th. There's plenty of time. But let's switch over to the American League. Like I already mentioned, Judge is sitting there with 19, Jordan at 15, Ohtani at 15, Garcia for Texas with 14, and Trout with 13. And what else did I want to talk about here? Let's talk about hits, because RBIs are actually Garcia from Texas with 51, Jordan with 51, Devers with 49, Marcus Semien for Texas. 3 guys from Texas are in the top 5 in RBIs. I'm glad I looking back at this, I'm glad I didn't just glance over this, because that just goes to show you why they have, if they're plus 200 in the run differential, because 3 of their starting 9 have more than 46 RBIs a third of the way through the season. That is insane. That is absolutely insane. We switch over to the National League. Alonso has 47. Nolan Gorman for St. Louis has 44. Matt Olson, 43. Max Muncy, 42. And JD Martinez with 40. Let's take a look at hits here. This is kind of interesting. In the National League, Freddie Freeman and Arias are tied with 80 hits. Acuna is right behind them with 78. Castellanos, 73. And Menenses, I believe that's how you pronounce it, Joey Menenses from Washington was 71. And over in the American League, Bo Bichette with 85. So Bo Bichette's leading the majors in hits right now. Marcus Semien has 73, Wander Franco 68, Alex Verdugo was 66, and Vlad Jr. was 65. Now the one that I've been keeping an eye on the most here, 2K Crew, and we've talked about this, is the stolen base. We're seeing stolen base numbers be astronomically higher compared to past seasons. In the National League, Acuna is at 26. Which, ironically enough, he's on pace to go from 40 home runs and 60 stolen bases. He said, you know what, screw your 40-40, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going 40-60. And yes, for those of you wondering, he will be the only one sitting in the 40-60 club, which is, to me, that's very exciting. Very exciting. I am highly rooting for that. Just because, A, it's never happened, and B, I mean, Acuna is, I think, in a lot of people's minds, the running away with the NL MVP. So really enjoy that. Really enjoy that. Starling Marte for the Mets, 17. Bay for Pittsburgh has 17. Corbin Carroll 16. Christian Yelich with 14. And switch over to the American League. Ruiz for Oakland has 28. Wander Franco 21. Bobby Witt Jr. for the Royals, 18. Whit Merrifield for the, man, that sounds weird. Whit Merrifield for the Blue Jays. I bet you if anyone's ecstatic to no longer be in Kansas City, it's Whit Merrifield. It's Whit Merrifield. He has 16 stolen bases, followed by Jorge Mateo for Baltimore. Let's take a look at some of the pitching stats here. American League, Shane McClanahan has 8 wins, followed by Garrett Cole, Nathan Eovaldi, Kyle Gibson, and Christian Javier, all with 7. Switch over to the National League. We've got Mitch Keller, Zach Gallen, Merrill Kelly, Clayton Kershaw with 7, and Spencer Strider with 6. Let's look at the earned run average here, and this is why I'm so, like, I don't understand why the Cubs are as crappy as they are. Bryce Elder, the rookie from Atlanta, is leading. He might be leading baseball. He is. He's leading baseball with a 1.92 ERA. That just goes to show you how insane this starting staff is for the Braves. It's absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts. Then you got Marcus Stroman with the Cubs and Justin Steele for the Cubs, both pretty close to that 2.6 mark, followed by Alex Cobb of all folks in San Francisco, and Zach Gallen for Arizona. And let's jump over to the American League here. ERA, where'd you go? Shane McClanahan 2.07. Eduardo Rodriguez for the Tigers 2.13. Sonny Gray 2.15. Framber Valdez 2.16, and Nathan Eovaldi 2.42. I'm pretty sure this is a lot of Tigers fans are excited to see Erod's name towards the top of this list. This is the guy that you signed from Boston. I mean, yes, last year was a train wreck, but I have a feeling without last year you don't get this Eduardo Rodriguez. I know he's on the IL right now, but he's and at least in my opinion, when teams put players on an IL and backdate it, in my opinion, that's always a good thing, meaning they just needed to sit him down and wanted to clear a roster spot to get someone else up. It's not really that earth-shattering to think that he won't be back fairly soon. But it's Sonny Gray out of nowhere. Before this season, I didn't really realize that Sonny Gray was still in the league, and I'm pretty sure that the Red Sox would have re-signed. As a Red Sox fan, I'm sad we did not re-sign Nathan Eovaldi. Seems like whenever he pitches, the bullpen doesn't exist. He's pitching complete games, and is a very kind of a throwback type of guy. And I've always liked Eovaldi, so when the Red Sox did not re-sign him, I was kind of upset. His contract and Corey Kluber's were very similar, if I'm not mistaken, and Corey Kluber has been absolute garbage. So if the front office would have called me, I would have been like, "Yo, this is who you need to keep." Obviously, Corey Kluber is, I mean, he has been so bad, 2K Crew, so bad. And let's jump to strikeouts here. For the American League, Kevin Gausman at 100, Ohtani at 96, Pablo Lopez for the Twins, 86, Garrett Cole, and Framber Valdez at 84. Let's jump over to the National League. Spencer Strider's leading baseball with 113. Mitch Keller for Pittsburgh at 93. Hunter Green just signed that big contract, 88. Clayton Kershaw representing all the old people at 84, and Zach Gallen with 82. Not really going to get into saves or anything like that, but yeah, that overall take, 2K Crew, after I was kind of giving you a refresher to give you my overall take, and overall take is the Braves are really good, the Rays are really good, and there's a lot of just individual performances that either I kind of expected or didn't really expect to see him this big. Like, I expected big years from folks, and now it's just like bam. They're surpassing my expectations, and this is a wild and crazy baseball season. And I think one of the things you're going to see is, I mean, if we look at, let's see here, yeah, we can get into my power rankings here. Start off with, let's see, and if I was a good producer, I would already had this done. Let's do process of elimination here. There's not going to be a team from either Central Division. Check those right off. Check. I think it's no big surprise that in mine, and I think everyone else's power rankings, the Rays are going to be number one. It's just going to be which teams are in that next tier. Okay. The Rays, in my opinion, have been by far the best team in baseball all year so far, and I think they will continue to do that. I really do. The only bugaboo for them is they do play in one of the hardest divisions in baseball. Like we talked about, every team in this division has a positive run differential. It means they're scoring way more runs than what they're giving up. So you can attest it to, do they have a good pitching staff? Yes. Do they have a good offense? Yes, absolutely. But these teams are going to just beat the hell out of each other. So how's that going to fall? I still think the Rays are head and shoulders up better than all the rest of the teams in baseball. And it's a team, too, that I hope continues to even get better. This is a good group of guys. It's a really good group of guys. And so now that we got that out of the way, let's jump on. Let's give me, and you could go just off wins and losses, but I'm going to go a little deeper than that. My number 2 team, give me the Braves. Give me the Braves for all the reasons that I think I've already talked about. I grew up a Braves fan just because the Braves were on TBS. Just I think, and especially people my age, my generation, you're either a Cubs fan because we got WGN, or you were a Braves fan just because we got all their games are on TBS. And just so happened that those Braves teams were really good. They had likable guys, and arguably the best pitching rotation ever, Hall of Famers top to bottom, Chipper Jones. I mean, that whole aura of Braves baseball was amazing. And now I think we're kind of getting back to that point, and this Braves team is really good. And this Braves team is really young. Really young. If you think about it, Matt Olson is one of the elder statesmen on that team, and he's not that old. Ronald Acuna Jr. is one of the kind of elder statesmen of that team. Not that old. Not that old at all. And we're seeing this Braves farm system just produce stud after stud after stud after stud. Harris Jr., Michael Harris Jr. was an absolute beast last year. Yes, he's had his some ups and downs this year, but the dude is playing lights out center field, and on top of that is figuring it out again. And add to that all the young pitching. Spencer Strider, the other kid we talked about that's leading the league in ERA. This is a good team and a deep team. And they're a team that loves to run. They hit the ball, they throw the ball, they field the ball. Give me the Braves at number 2. Number 3, give me the Rangers. Give me the Rangers at number 3. We already talked about Eovaldi and what he's doing. Corey Seager is on fire. We really haven't even seen Jake DeGrom yet. I mean, actually, I'm curious now. And we've seen Jacob DeGrom be Jacob DeGrom on verge of Texas Rangers return from birth of a child. Okay, yeah. So let's see what his stats are this year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's only made 6 starts this year. He's 2-0 with a 2.67. So I guess you could say we have seen Jacob DeGrom, but his last start was March 30th. Sorry, March 30th. So hopefully that was by far his worst game. 3 2/3 pitched, 6 hits, 5 runs. So yeah, hopefully that. If he gets back and he's anywhere near what he was, watch out. This team could make some noise. But top to bottom, Simeon and Seager make one hell of a double play combo up the middle. This team's legit, and equally, you could argue too that Houston is just getting healthy, which is scary. We've seen Altuve come back, and a lot of their health now is kind of hinged upon that starting rotation. How deep is it? How long can they go? And for them to only be 3.5 back is rather insane, especially like I said with all those injuries, and it seems like they're just starting to get healthy. So that it's going to be hard for the Mariners or the Angels to catch either one of these teams. And this is a division where we are going to see 2 teams go to the playoffs. Either the Rangers or the Astros will win. We'll get one of the wild card spots guaranteed. Probably the other one coming from AL East, the AL East. And so that was 1, 2, 3, 4. Give me the Dodgers. Yeah. Give me the Dodgers. And 5. I gotta go Houston 5. For all the reasons that I just explained. Give me Houston at 5. And 2K Crew, it's not too late to drop your top 5 in the comments and see how yours compares to mine. I was kind of hoping 2Ks would be here so we could kind of go back and forth and kind of debate each other's lists, but we'll just have to save that for another time. 2K Crew, have to save it for another time. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that most baseball fans would have those 5 teams. You might have them in a little different order. The only other team that I was, that would make if I went 6, would be the Diamondbacks. Just because, like I said, they're half game behind the Dodgers. And if the Yankees win tonight, they probably would be tied. So it's kind of hard to discount them in this. Let's take a look at who's been the hottest team. Blue Jays are 7-3 in their last 10. Rangers are 8-2. At Houston 7-3. The Marlins are 7-3. So aside from them, and the A's are 2-8, like I already talked about. They took 2 of 3 from the Braves. The Angels are 3-7, but everyone else is playing like 500 baseball. Either 5-5, 6-4, 4-6. So there's your teams at the top, your very good teams, and there's a whole bunch of kind of middle of the road teams, and then there's your 2 crappy ones. Then there's your two crappy ones. And the A's have a minus 221 run differential. All right, hold on. I've got to check this out. Okay, so we have just in that American League West. Like I said, the Rangers are at 152. There's 364 runs separating the Texas Rangers and the Oakland A's. That is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. 364. Man. 364 is more runs than it's almost as many runs as the Rangers have scored. Let's put it that way. That is absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts. And I don't even need to scroll through that. I mean, by far that has to be that has to be the largest gap in the league right now. That is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Well, 2K Crew is getting about that time. I started a little early, but I do want to. It is kind of usually on the solo shows you don't quite get an hour. So I think I'll sign off from here, ladies and gentlemen. Hope to see you back next week. Everyone have a fantastic week. The weather should be calmed down a little bit. I mean, this heat's been insane. Chubby people, you know exactly what I'm talking about. We are not built for this. Today was amazing. Today was absolutely amazing. So everyone get out and enjoy the weather. Whatever you do, whether it's golf, play in the yard with your kids, and just doing yard work, gardening, hiking, camping, whatever it is. Get out and do it this week. And before I do sign off, I do want to give a big congrats to all the Marcellus graduates, including my son Cameron Jacobs. Congratulations to each and every one of you. My biggest advice is that hold on, because now the excitement starts. But yes, the graduation was fantastic today. And for those of you that did have graduation parties today, perfect day to do it. Well, 2K Crew, I will get you out of here on that. Like I said, everyone have a safe week. I will see you next week, hopefully with the esteemed Kyle 2K's Kaler. And as always, Jim Rome, we're coming for you.